Canifing, where we bring you the latest happenings in the footballing world, and today will be no exception. My name is Mariama Bojang. As always, we bring you very exciting discussions and very interesting as well. Today, we'll be having someone from the Coaches Association. He is no other than Keba Jesper-Toure, who is the president of the Gambia Coaches Association. We all know last week has been a very important milestone when it comes to the football fraternity. The Coaching Association of the Gambia held a very important convention for over 42 members of the coaching fraternity here in the Gambia. And as we get a postmortem of last week's convention, we are going to talk about the importance and some of the issues that happened there at the convention, which I know a lot of people who are watching right now will be very interested to know. A very warm welcome to all of you watching and always tuning into this program, and it promises to be very exciting as well. Thank you very much for always logging on to this program, and good afternoon, Mr. Toure. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Good afternoon, Mariama. Really, it's a pleasure to be back here once again.
Okay, after a very interesting week last week, we know it's very hectic, having a full week of activities. How would you tell us how important was the convention, especially to your colleagues?
Yeah, first of all, Mariama, let me just send my condolences to Kanifing East FA. We lost one of our own, that's Coach Abdullahi Jane, who is a bona fide member of the Coaches Association, one of the prize winners last season. Again, he was supposed to be part of the convention because when we were on the build-up, I could remember the last day, their last game at Bakau, I spoke to him to learn about this convention, which he referred me to his management. But later on, I understand he was struggling with the sickness. Yeah. But overall, it was a success. And yes, we can say we did it.
Thank you very much, Coach. Like you said, our condolences to Canifing Football Club for the demise of their head coach. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Let's just go through how important is this for you, because we know there are a lot of coaches in Gambia and registered members for that matter. For you and your executive, how did you pull out such a big event for these coaches?
Yes, Mariama, this has been on our calendar, or this has been on our lips for quite a time now. We've seen it necessary because capacity building, that's something coaches have been lacking for the couple of years. Reasons, one mainly was from CAF. We've known the technical director have been struggling very much with the ESCO to see that we have our luncheon program floating. But as you know, the league has been going in and out, and we've seen the young coaches are very much eager for capacity building. So this time round, we said this, whatever it's gonna take us, we have to give a try, and at least to maintain it in our calendar, so that annually we know in every summer, especially in July, everybody around the globe will know that Gambia is a convention time in this country, where the young coaches will be educated a week long to benefit our young uprising players or young coming players. Yeah.
Is this going to be an annual event?
Yes, the most amazing part was the big man of the house, that's President Kababajo. In the closing remarks, he said that it is going to be a part of the GFF calendar, and GFF is going to take the full burden now on forward.
That is very important for the president of the federation to come on board, and we know he's the chairperson, is it?
Yeah.
Or he's part of you guys?
Yeah, he said he's part of us already.
Yes.
And come on, as you know, the structure in the federation, the coach association is one of the main game players.
Right.
We are an allied association, not just an allied association. If you talk of football, you cannot let the coaches out. And again, we've made the federation very much proud. Look at our setup. Yeah. I think for the past years, Gambia has been the only nation in the last two Cup of Nations that its players, represented players, are 90 or 90+ percentage are homegrown players. these are players that go through these coaches.
Yeah.
So that alone has been a very big achievement for the coaches, and it has been challenging. And again, going back to our national teams, local national teams. That's from the 17 years yet to come. But we are confidently that it's going to be coached by our local coaches. But go to the 20, the 23, the list goes on. These are teams that have been coached by local coaches, which has shown the effort and the contribution these people have been doing in the past years.
As the president, what plans do you have for the coaches for the licensing when it comes to being licensed, especially with the A and B?
Yeah, Mariama, I have been very lucky this time around. At least you know that I've been part of the WAFO technical team. We just concluded an AGM last week.
Right.
So this were the main. It's not just Gambia that's affected with the licensing program. It's a regional issue or it's an African issue. I know overall some years back, a couple of years back, CAF has an issue with issuing these licenses.
Yeah.
So technically, it has been upheld, and there are some logistics they've been working on, and we can say we send a very big thank you to our technical department, especially the TD,
yeah,
who is working immensely hard with the ESCO to see that it resumes back in this country. Again, it has been a challenge in the sub-region, especially with one of the reasons, or one of the tax we have been taxed during the WAFO AGM was to put a report together and to see the way forward coming 2024 to 2026. And this has been one of the issues. We've seen CAF has raised a bar in the coaching fraternity, especially in Champions League games. And still the adequate training has not been happening. But again, in that occasion, we were lucky the CAF Secretary General was there. Again, we had the President as the head of the WAFO Zone A. So those things has been discussed. And coming back home, Sang has that topic during the convention. He was given the African Convention, he covered a topic about that. So I think now the coaches have understand actually what went wrong and what are the preparation and what effort has been put together to see that this thing is being done.
Generally, were there a criteria for any coach to join, or is it for the registered members of the Coaches Association?
Yes, because it is a force of its kind. So we are afraid making it open, we might get some tumblers up there.
Right.
So we started with the membership strictly. The membership is the first and second division, male and female head coaches, and C Lancing, from C Lancing and B Lancing holders. Even our colleagues in the diaspora, because this is for Gambian coaches. Everybody there has his own membership, and we've introduced a card which most of them has paid their card. So we started with that with a smaller number so that we can get in control of it. And again, after we went through, we understand that there were a lot of calls, especially myself, even of the eve before the start of the league. Some clubs called that they want to send in their coaches. But again, this is a number we were working on. We regret it and we are apologizing to them. But again, this was what we are aiming for. At least now we know it is going to be a continuity. At least next year when we come, we'll adjust the time. If not the membership or the number of participants, if we cannot double it, but at least we'll go 75% so that we can get a large scope of coaches involved.
Now, having such a huge number, do you think the convention was a success as the president?
Really, I was so excited because around Thursday evening, especially when we had our psychological program and there was a sort of a barbecue by the poolside, when Busente came in with that program. And a lot of things have been covered. The kids were just saying, the young coaches were saying, President, do you think we can we extend this to another week? Because it was just amazing. Right. It wasn't just the education part of it, but coaches coming together. These are people who had been competing for almost 9 months in the league.
Right.
So most of them just see each other on the grounds or meet on the grounds. But again, there are others where they were together in batches when they were doing their launching in programs. So coming together for a week, even our last launching in program, we haven't get that because in the last launching program, it was only our batch, the first C launching that went into camp. But for the first time, these young players, these young coaches came in for 7 good days. They are in camp both day and night doing things together. That was just amazing, and that has shown a bright future in the coaching fraternity of this country.
How challenging was the whole process?
Yeah, it was in the beginning. It was challenging. It was definitely challenging. But again, as we said in the Mandinka, ni sembeta sitola kanyi dahatal, because you know all the GFF has been the main partners. I remember when we came here, that was just a couple of days, 72 hours before the kickoff. We came here to meet the president when he was informally. Okay, for me, his office is always open for us.
Right.
We always discuss things at higher level. But again, these are administrative issues. Yeah. At times, communication has to be undocumented, which due to pressure, we couldn't make it on time. But when we are here personally, he has to take this, the bull by the horn to make sure this thing happens, because that was the promise he made to us before we left. But again, it was tight, it was difficult knowing this financial constraint in the building here. But again, with all sort of things, as far as it's the coaches, and we've made the country proud, we've made the association proud, and we sort of facilitating or sort of complementing the efforts of the federation. So they take it boldly enough. And the most amazing part was when he came to the opponent. He was so amazing seeing that young, willing coaches, and the federation has taken the initiation. Possibly next year, what we face this year, we will not go into that struggle. We just need to get a long-term preparation. Then July, we are there.
Yeah. So we have seen throughout the whole 1 week, we have seen resource persons came in turn by turn, and they had presentations and all of that. How important was this, and how is it going to enhance your coaches throughout the whole career of their leadership?
Yeah, I'm just talking through the feedback from the coaches.
Yeah.
Because here, before, we just believe coaching is just blowing the whistle, right, or assigning the kids to be running or to kicking the ball. Modern football has gone far beyond that. The whole show, we've been managed by people whom we even understand the game better than them.
Right.
But because of some privileges or because of lack of some knowledge, we don't know. We are not saying we're going to challenge our executive members or we're going to challenge our team managers. No. But at least an enlightenment has been done. Much has been done. Coaches now understand that football coaching is not just blowing the whistle or asking the player or just going to the drawing board, as Peter will say, going back to the drawing board. Right. At least we've learned so many new things. We've learned how administrators are working. And we even, the most important part, we even know that the coaches know that now coaches has to be part of every setup of a team. Being budgeting, being administrating, technically is the last thing, because that's our primary responsibility. Yeah. But again, we had other responsibility to make development towards the team. And definitely, Mariama, can be rest assured. Yeah. This 1 week wasn't a waste. It was very on Thursday. Yes. You've seen the environment. The GRTS was there. Yeah. But again, the class is always full up. The class was always filled up. And I said, there are even managers who were calling if there was any slot so that we can push in there. So that shows how successful it was. And again, being the first of its kind, as they will say, we've raised the bar high, but we still see challenging until and unless we had a week or two where coaches across this country, especially high-profile coaches, everybody will be involved in the convention. But we hope with the intervention of the federation and the continuity will be very much, the future is very much bright for this convention.
What would you say is the most interesting part of the convention altogether?
Yes, I still talk on the general membership. The FIFA Award, I think that was something that cleared so many doubts. Because out there, we had of figures, we had of numbers, we had of money. You know, money in these days, right. Every organization has been humble with it. Yeah. But again, that very day when Kemo entered that class, with later on followed by Ismaila of finance, so many doubts have been cleared. At least Ibrahim Mane came before on report writing. So many questions came into our minds, how these things have been possible, how these things have been worked out. But after Kemo's session, especially with Ismail, most of the coaches now know so many things were on social media wasn't the actual thing that has been happening. So and again, we challenging. It has put a challenge on the coach. They now realize that even before preseasons, in budget setting, coaches have a great role. You need to know the number of players you needed during the preseason. How many players will you be going into the proper season? Their fares. A lot of balls you needed, materials you needed. All these things are something that has to come from the coaches. It wasn't happening. But I could remember the very day before Ismaila was there, it was up till late in the evening. Some of the coaches even came to finalize how they'll be going with this. Especially we have coaches who are working with the institutional departments. So these are clubs where they will get their budget fixed. But I'm part of that budget. How much is that coach is earning from, or what were they requesting from? We were just giving things, or we just request, we need certain amount of balls, certain amount of this, and somebody will just be there ordering or giving us the balls. Actually, we know now we should be part and parcel of that, the process. And again, we talk of the preseason, what we call here, the preseason meeting. This preseason meeting, these are moments where it's a totally technical show. Again, I understand during our days in the bench, it used to be head coaches, team manager with secretary general. But most of these young coaches are saying most of them don't attend these preseason meetings. But again, it is a challenge now that whenever, if I call for a preseason meeting before a month before the season, we know that it's a mandate on every coach to be part of it. But the most amazing part is after this convent, we'll be working on a magazine and a recommendation that will be coming, because again we use it as a review of the season. Some of the difficulties have been, and we want some amendments in the competition rules or some challenges that has to be considered. And these are things, when we are ready, it will be presented to the president by us.
One key sector which is very important is the media. We've seen the president of the Sports Journalists Association, Musa Sisi, and of course we've also seen Peter from West Coast Radio attend some of the sessions. What added value will this have in terms of interviews and also corresponding between the fans, and of course communicate between the fans and the coaches?
Yeah, Mariama, first of all, before I just go further, there are certain media houses that need to make a very good, we need to say to them a big thank you. My camera of Star FM was part of the build-up coming to this and making a success. Del Fadera, Africa Radio, Tamba, Amadou Tamba of Q Radio. These people were very much instrumental to the build-up. Again, having Musa there, we always said this. Yes. Coaches have to be in control of the journalists, because we understand most of our coaches, the journalists will push them to answer exactly what they want, and it doesn't go like that.
Right.
This is a job you've been trained for. This is a job you need to do. But again, the relationship between the media and the coaches fraternity has been cordial. But at least Musa has made a very big impact. Seeing Musa himself as the president of the Sport Journalists Association, standing in front of that class, giving lectures, that alone was amazing. And as I said, this was a mixed class. We get the young and the senior coaches that had been blended. So some of these young coaches having that opportunity was a great moment. And so many things has been discussed. And we're still going to work on that, because this is something we even want our players. Because remember, these are players going for professionalism. At a professional level, the media is there for you openly. You need to, in football now, it's a law. Every coach has to face the media. We've seen in England now, in Premiership, if you dodge away from the media, there's a special fine in it. But again, the way you talk to the media, your every word is going to be assessed. Anytime you mess up yourself in front of the media or in front of the camera, you need to be punished for it. So it was so amazing. It was just a great moment. And every bit of that session was just great.
So I just thought this should be interesting. Did you sort of have a session there whereby you had let's say Jesper or Ahmad, sit in front to get an interview sort of? That should be interesting. I mean, you are talking to the head of the media fraternity, that is Musa. I mean, you should put them on the spot. Did that happen?
Yeah, actually, you know, that day I was brief because that was the day I lost my uncle, so I have to travel to the
Okay.
village that early morning of Thursday.
Sorry.
But again, when I came back in the
The
evening,
feedback was positive.
it was just positive because
Right.
I thought that was the day you were there with your
On
team.
Thursday, yes.
Yeah, so it was just a great moment. I think I would just share this. Yes. They said it was the overall. It was just great. If they could request for another week, if you had the means and the funds,
Right.
definitely we could have still been there. Yeah.
About plans, because you are responsible for all coaches in the country. Do you have any plans when it comes to the regional coaches?
Perfectly, they are part and parcel of the system. I must say this because during the convention I saw a message on the social media that went verbal, and we are not the least happy about it, and have contacted the person who wrote it, and we've discussed to learn. That was, if I could just read it out, a multitude of such a convention going on, coaches of LRR have been neglected. That was an embarrassment, at least for any follower of the game. And think they weren't fair to us if it wasn't. But thank God it was been tackled. If we could, we've been awarding coaches up to LRR. If the possibilities are there or the means are there, even to URR, of course we'll be there to award them at their backyard. We've been in NUMI, we've been in LRR, so that shows the solidarity we show out to the coaches and the involvement of everybody in the association. But again, this was a convention, and a number was targeted, and it was like who first paid would be in. So I understand some of them lately, or their team managers lately communicated the issue to them. Because when we started, we all thought it wasn't going to happen. Because you talk of a convention, how big it is. The first time, there was 2 occasions when my PRO has to call me, Presi, do you think we can go with this? Don't you think we can sell it next year? But again, as I believe in what I believe in, I always said this, there must be a stepping stone. Whatever it takes, we might not be like those doing it 100 days ago, but at least as Sang says in the deliberation in the opponent, let's do it in our style. Let's do it at least so that when we come in the years, we can say we came from a far distance. It was last year how we did, but this year at least there is a percentage added on it. So overall, this is how we get that courage. But the provincial coaches, they are part of the process. I said first and second, the membership is first and second division, male and female. Right. Then with those with D license, with C license. So I know there are so many D license holders in the region, and soon the C license will kick off. They will come over. Our wish is to cover everybody in the membership. But again, we might, because this is a federation. So in every regional association has its own coaches association who are members. So those are where this. That's why the regional associations are giving that. Congrats to the West Coast Regional Association. They are doing their D currently, and KM hopefully will be coming in a fortnight. So we urging all other regions to be warming up for their coaches for the next batch of D license. And again, it's a promise. Immediately after this convention, we are going to organize the famous stakeholders tournament. But again, after the stakeholders tournament, we will go in a countrywide tour so that to enlighten more and to put more emphasis on coaching in the province. Yeah,
we're going to talk about the calendar of the your association. But first, before we go there, let's talk about the special awards during this convention. Throughout the whole convention, who were the special people that you thought could have been certified throughout the whole process?
Yeah, Mariama, we couldn't do justice, or we couldn't enjoy ourselves and do whatever, or we cannot claim a success of this convention without giving back to the forefathers. Those are the pioneers who got the idea and put this whole thing together. And it is always amazing. I always said this, when you are within the midst of those elderly coaches, you will never like to stop or for them to separate. Because anytime you are with Papa Isang, Alaji Sila, it is always jovially. Ibufai. It is always amazing. See that relationship they build within that long period of time up to where they are today. Again, we cannot do justice without showing the world, or especially the young membership of the association, who these people were. So the first executive, that was the first president, was Alaji Silla, the honorable guy, the only honorable coach in the country.
Right.
Assisted, first vice president was Sang. Then the list goes down. Wow, Wandenjai, Bonu Johnson, and the others. Ibrahima Bojang, which are most of people, coaches, young coaches in Brikama don't even know. And this guy has played a great role. He's now residing in Sweden. Okay. He was the first Secretary General of the association. Wow. And again, he one of the local coaches who worked with Ajala, with these Nigerian technicians who were in the country in the early 90s. Okay. So they come with the idea. So we believe they need to be, if this is true, it's a total coaches convention, and it has to get, we want to move on year in, year out. We need to lay a very good foundation. At least their efforts need to be known. When when coaching was just a struggle or a passion in this country. I could remember they said in those days, the executive have to contribute like $50 a week, then the general membership contributed $25 to put a budget together so that they could be running out. But today, we are lucky. We had the federation here who is footing most of our bills. But again, I need to make some comments, especially our partners during the awards. That's iAfrica. You get Chorno Samba agency. We get Grand Autos. They are very much and long-time partners in the whole thing. JFF you won't talk of. We had this time around during the convention, interventions were made by Brikama Area Council, KM, Banjul City Council.
Quite a sponsor, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't what we expected much, but at least we need to commend their efforts. I know July is always a difficult moment for most institutions, but again, just appreciating their efforts they put together. It couldn't be whole without the intervention of the federation. But again, a big thank you to the Ministry of Youth and Sports through the Sport Council. Yeah, but again, as big the major partners, that's the GFF. That's why everything was able to on hold. Yeah,
I'm sure Ismaila is watching. You will visit the accounts department to pay off for mentioning all of your sponsors. But apart from the convention, during the league, we have seen the Coaches Association not only encourage your members, but also giving them a token to say thank you for being the coach of the month and all of that, which is kind of pushing the coaches to, to perform even better. How is this important for your association to encourage your members?
Yeah, you've seen the title race in the league,
right?
Both male and female.
Yes.
You see how because coaches count on. After every 5 games in the first division, there must be a winner. So it was amazing, and there was a thought that we came with way back. It started with Sana Yafa, who brought the thought to the association. Then we kick up from there, and until the involvement of the federation when we discussed with Ibufai, and Ibufai promised that it's something recommendable, and the federation would like to take up the responsibility.
Right.
So what we just did before the starting of every league, we just send our budget to the federation, and everything has to be footed. Yep. But again, we had a challenge. We're working on something now, because from this convention, we understand the biggest challenge of the coaches is football is now into technology now. As you see, the digitals here, gadgets are needed for our coaches. We will be opening our arms, even if we can add up to, not a laptop, but at least a tablet for every winner of the coach of the month in the coming season. It's going to be challengeful. It's a challenge already, but as I said, these are initials, or these are initiations we have to put, because we need to move ahead. We need to move, and the league has to move along with these coaches. Right. The importance of coaches, the president has said it in the opening and the closing remarks, and the support the federation is willing to do. But again, we will seek more sponsorship so that we can get these things available for the coaches. I want to see that if I could and had the means before the end of next season, every head coach or every coach will have his own gazette to make his job or her job easy.
Yeah. Do you have a calendar for the upcoming season apart from the award? Do we have anything interesting? Because you made mention that the convention is going to be annual as well. Do you have added things that might be very interesting for your coaches?
Yeah, of course. We want to make capacity building a continuity. Remember, we made the last time we made the head coach before his first, the national team head coach before his first assignment.
Right.
And we had so many discussions and agreement with him through the technical department and the head of competition, technical team, that's Mr. Faye. Again, I have to say this, in October, if all went well, if we played our home game here or any other game played home here before the departure of the technical team, everybody on that bench, we would like to use them to train, continue to capacitize our members, especially the fitness trainer, the video technology personnel, and yeah, all sort of those things need to be. We want a continuous assessment of the coach, and again, the coach we had that agreement. We had to finalize it. We all understand after November, it's always a long break for national team coaches.
Yeah.
Because after November, there are no games until March. So during that 4 months before going back home, we try to work with the technical department through the ESCO, so that arrangement can be done for him to be around the league, for him to watch our league vividly and to see on where we can assess, because it's part of the mandate or it's part of the agreement he promised, that it's a promise he made to us that he would definitely like to work with the technical department so that we can get continued assessment and training capacitating our membership. Yeah, but Mariama, the most amazing part is, I think it's a coach we all need to embrace. It's a coach we all need to give support, and because he want to get the total involvement of the league coaches in his dealings. Because this was a promise he made. Whenever he has his own preparation, it's an open door policy. Every head coach or every coach will be invited to his technical preparations. And again, not just to go and watch. We will have our say. We will advise or we will give our say. There will be a time he will give us a question and answers with him, direct interaction. I mean, so that to clear the doubts, and because he wanted to build the team together. He wants the involvement of every technician in this country. And I think the future is bright for Gambian football when he comes to that.
Finally, how do you see the future of Gambian coaches? You made mention about, having to implement certain things that between your members and of course the head coach that is of the national team. But altogether, do you think your coaches have a future in coaching the national team someday? Because already we have them in the system, talk about like Bojang and others and the backroom staff, they're all Gambian coaches. How impressive are you with the work that they are doing, especially now that they are being introduced at a higher level?
Mariam, I think coaches have spoken for themselves, or the materials has already spoken for themselves.
Yeah.
Looking at the competition level of the league, looking at the transfer of players, movement of players now to professional, that shows that so many emphasis. The only challenge we had is the licensing issues.
Okay.
And that's somehow beyond us, as I said earlier on. But again, we got the promise, and we are sure soon that will be an history. Remember the last time we do the B here, it's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hadn't been there was continuity. Today we could have abundance of A and pro licensing holders in this country. Myself personally had so many calls or contacts for coaches going outside of this country, but the only problem or the only thing barring them is this licensing issues. Yeah, because there's a coach that was 1 or 2 that's supposed to be, there are jobs in the Middle East, some part of Asia, coaches have been requested.
Right.
But the licensing always is the experience is there, because somebody spending more than 10 years in the league, grooming players, seeing players to professional. It's somehow, it's not just us. I said this in the WAFU AGM during our deliberation in the technical meeting.
Yeah.
It seems the players have left us behind, and we have been the author behind all this success. Look at WAFU competitions now.
Yes.
For the first time, WAFU organizing 9 competitions in a year. And look at the level. West Africa now, WAFU A, has been the powerhouse of African football. In the last edition, in the last edition of the Cup of Nations, we get 8 teams from WAFU A. Out of 9 possibility, we get 8 spots. That's almost 98%.
Right.
So that shows the emphasis, that shows the zeal. And Gambia is not lacking behind. We've always been finalists, either finalists or semi-finalists. So come on, both male and female. It has been very good. Effort has been put together. So we just putting our hands across and waiting for those moments when we will capitalize on that, and to make sure that by next year, I will tell you this for granted, when we get this launching in place, very soon you will see most of our coaches will be exported out of this country.
Talking about WAFU, we have the competition is ongoing presently in Sierra Leone. We have our representative Ray Scorpions for the first time being introduced to the championship. How do you see that? Because I know Suna and Choro are key members in the association.
Yeah, Mariama, I think we all agree that just being there alone is something. Yeah. And I've seen I won't watch their first game, but the second game against the Tamil Girls, I watched the 90 minutes. It was just amazing. Yeah. It was unfortunate we just collected early 2 goals in the first half at the pace of a short time. Yeah. But again, coming at the rest of the 70 minutes, you can see the effort the team has put together, especially in the second half. They could have won the game, or we could have won that game in the second half, because better chances of the half was created by Red Scorpions. So, but again, it's a learning process. I understand these guys were the Riberians were there before, and again, look at the composition of their team. They get 3 Gambian players here, and I understand they got players from Sierra Leone, Guinea, and the others. So it's more of a more compact and professional team than the Red Scorpion. But again, for the first time, for them being there already, it's a credit. It's let's come back as a country and work very hard again and see whoever will be winner or the champion next year. At least we've seen a Red Scorpion. For the rest of the games coming, there is still a possibility for them to make an impact. But right now, they are not just been representing the country, but looking at their last game. I'm sure if they could put the same amount of effort, they will come with at least something before the end of the tournament.
I know I said finally, but is there a process that the Coaches Association is working on to make sure you recruit more coaches to be members? Because we know that there are a lot of coaches in Gambia, but most of them are not registered with the association. How is the recruitment going to be like?
That's a continued process. That's what I said. Once the launching programs are moving, we'll get more membership on board. Right. Because remember, it is just before we started with only head coaches of 1st and 2nd division. So after the C launchings, 2-3 batches of C launchings, we see most of them cannot be head coaches. And they are launching holders. Why can't we extend it? Yes. After an AGM, we decided that it could be open now to all launching holders. Yes. Okay. Again, but there are a lot of D launching holders. We don't want to, we at least want to give a criteria that will value the association. So it couldn't just be, or at least let somebody do an effort to be there, because it's going to be the elite body. Because remember, there are some associations in all these regions. So we want, that's why we're going for a tour. Year before last, we were there. But we want these coaches in the region to empower through the regional associations. I understand there are a lot of difficulties, in communication with the regional office, but that's why this time round we will be working on, we want to use the competition department or the technical department when they are on this tour for us to accompany them to be one to empower these regional associations. So they are important because they're going to be the stepping stone, or they are the foundation. Because we want to see those coaches out there to be at least next year. If we cannot move to the interior of the country, but at least we want to get more participation or participants coming down from the area.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toure, for taking time to join us here on the Football House Update. It has been a very insightful discussion. maybe you want to say thank you to your executive and of course to the membership in general.
Yeah,
And your
definitely.
sponsors.
Definitely a
Yeah.
very big thank you to the executive, but especially
Yeah.
my Secretary General and the PRO. That's Ahmad Cham and Lamin Sane. Yes, the executive, most of them were busy on the league, because remember the league just concluded when the competition was at its pitch. But for Ahmad, Lamin, anytime I called them, they were there.
Yeah.
You can see the convention. I had a less work to do. Most of the things he was coordinating, they were coordinating everything. That shows the spirit of the teamwork, and that shows the cooperation and the understanding within the coaches. The high level of respect from the general membership was just amazing. I was definitely emotional, especially in the last couple of days. But again, it was very regrettable and saddening, because the last day we were supposed to get a grill after the presentation, but it couldn't take place because we lost a colleague who was one of the best, one of the most promising young coaches. It was sad and unfortunate things goes like that. But again, our prayers are with them, sending our deepest condolences to the family, especially the footballing fraternity, to the Serekunda East, Kanifing East setup. But again, overall, it was a success. It was we are very much grateful and thankful to everybody that played a part. I could remember the last eve, or the eve of the game, Lamin has to call that the executive haven't got officially their invitation letter to the show. But again, thank you to President Kaba for his understanding. You know, in administration, everything has to be official. But again, with that last minute rush, he was able to accept whatever we did. Or as we know, that's the first time we were all involved in it. But again, a big thank you to our partners. We're working on a very strong partnership in America. There's the Black Coaches Association. The last session was done by one of the resource persons, that's Isang Jacob, who was here in June with Medina Academy. And these were people, he was so amazing. I could remember he called me the last time, he said, Keba, finally you did it. He was so much amazing and surprised that we were able to go through that hurdle. But again, he promised they are going to be part and parcel of this convention in the long run. But the amazing part of it, with prayers, we hoping to be exporting our coaches soon overseas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toure, for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to our wonderful viewers for always logging on to watch this program, The Football House Update. It comes your way every Tuesday and Thursday, where we bring you the latest happenings here with regards to football. My name is Mariam Bojang. I want to say thank you to our broadcast crew that has been very helpful to putting the program together. Omar Toure, Mariam Okoma, Ibrahim Suad, and of course, Thursday we have a surprise for you, a big surprise. We'll be traveling all the way to Jara Soma, because we know for the first time, Mr. Toure, we're having a second division team, that is Hearts FC, being introduced in the first division. So we'll pay them a visit, you know, talk to the CEO, the head coach, and of course the team captain to bring you up to speed. How was the whole process altogether? You know, how did they reach here, play in the first division? So log on Thursday. We are going to bring you a special program at the Soma Field, where you are going to be entertained, not only entertained, but also be informed about the latest happenings when it comes to Hearts FC, because we'll be doing more of our broadcast there, inshallah, coming season, because most of the teams will be traveling to Jara Soma. Thank you to our viewers, and everybody should tune in next week Thursday, because we have a special broadcast for you. Thank you very much, and wish you a fantastic day, and enjoy the rest of your time. And my name is Mariam Bojang. Have a fantastic day.